three.
Good afternoon. This is V with Keeping It Real with V and G. What matters? Today we have two very interesting people who have come to us to talk to us about their business. And before I go any further, I will go on and introduce them. Navico Pizza was purchased in 2014 by Randy and Valerie Poe. Randy worked in informational technology for over 20 years before striking out into the pizza making business. Looking for a change and a desire to serve his community, he took advantage of the opportunity to purchase Navico Pizza. Item 259. The quality of Navico's pizza and calzones made the decision even easier. What has been most interesting is employing the people from the community and what he has witnessed and learned over the past 7 years. I would like to introduce to you Mr. Randy and Mrs. Valerie Poe, who are native Mobilians and have been married for over 32 years with 3 children. Their place of business, and you are going to hear more about this, is at 1368 and a half Navico Road, which is right off of Government Boulevard, between Government Boulevard and DIP, right near the Costco shopping center. Mr. and Mrs. Poe.
Good evening. How's everybody today? We This is my wife Valerie,
Good evening.
and
Glad to be here.
we want to first say thank you V and G for allowing us to be a part of your program. We are the owners of Navco Pizza, located at 1368 and a half Navco Road here in Mobile, Alabama. Um, the question that's often asked, especially when we got into this, was why leave a great career in technology to take on the challenges of running a local pizzeria? Well, I've been blessed with the opportunity to have 3 sons. Well, I didn't have any sons. This beautiful woman next to me gave birth to all three. And so we have 3 sons. They are grown, 19, 23, and 26. Am I right, baby?
Yes.
All right. And they're doing fine. So the question is, why? Why make such a change? Well, things began to change in the IT industry. I was working at Southern University for a long time and enjoying and raising kids and living with my lovely wife. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something other than solve problems and work in closets and install devices and discuss technology. I wanted to be closer to the community. And it also gave us an opportunity to come home because Southern University is located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and great place to live. So the opportunity came along, we took advantage of it. And to finish that question about why, you can't leave. I realized that I couldn't leave a job to my 3 sons. It's about building legacy, building a legacy. I couldn't leave a job to my sons. Okay, I could leave what we had purchased over the years, but I couldn't leave a job to my son. But I could leave a business or a business enterprise that's structured and set up properly to them. And they've all worked at some time at the shop, especially the younger two. Well, especially the youngest, and he is Austin. So that was number one. We wanted to leave a legacy, and again, we wanted to be close to the community, and it was also an opportunity to come home because our parents are here and they were aging. Upon purchasing the shop, there were some things that had to take place, and I purchased Navco Pizza. No, we purchased Navco Pizza from Jimmy and Loretta Lewis. Now, Jimmy had been a buyer for Godfathers. In its heyday back in the 70s and 80s, Godfathers was a popular a pizza place, almost like a bar like, and they made fantastic pizza. He still do. So he was a buyer. In other words, he was a regional buyer. He would do deals with major corporations to sell supplies to regional pizza franchises for Godfathers. And over the years, he said he saw some things change in the industry and realized it was time to get out. So he decided to settle in Mobile. And over the course of years from 1995 to about 2014, they built a good following over there at Navco Pizza, and it was time for them to retire. He was from Meridian, Mississippi, and he wanted to go back. So the opportunity came along, and we went ahead and we purchased that. We made the decision to do it. And I can say that, and he took time, and we purchased the recipes and the equipment, and he explained how, because I don't have a culinary background. Neither does my wife. In fact, my wife has a science background, so do I. So but I can tell you that that running a business, technology does help,
Yeah.
because technology is built on protocols. Everything has an order, everything has a process. And when you're making food, you want it to be consistency, and that should be our standard operating procedures. And that was one of the first things I had to learn, take on, and we're still documenting it. But that was something very, very, very important. When I first took it over, it was a little shocking because it was new. Even though I'd managed people in the past, I'd managed professionals. Now I'm managing non-professionals, and it was a little different. But we're going to talk about that later. Let's talk about some of the challenges I ran into when purchasing the business. First one was that we addressed the food costs. And dressing the pizza. No, let me be more specific. Restaurants run on a formula. I won't get into what the formula is, but your food cost is supposed to be at a certain percentage. Jimmy told me when I was coming in, hey, my food cost is high. Well, I didn't know any better. If I had thought about it, if I knew what I knew now, I would have told him, hey, well, let's hold out on the purchase, and let's get this food cost thing addressed, because it can affect other things in the business, and it did. Because if your food cost is high, something else must be low, and what he had his labor costs low. So when I came in, my labor cost came up to where it was supposed to be 30%. I'm like, well, where are the profits? So we had to address the food cost. That took time, because the problem was that the prices were low. So over time, we increased the prices. We increased the prices. Then the next thing we wanted to address was that we wanted to enhance the experience. Now, she said in the bio that the taste of the pizza and the calzones made it easier. Well, first of all, if he followed the practice of how Godfather's pizza tastes back in the day, that starts out as a winner right there, because Godfather pizza was great.
Yeah.
So I took on the process of learning how to make our own dough. We make our own dough in house. We make our own sauce. So what you get on the pieces doesn't come straight out of a can. We make sauce daily. All right. We at one time we were using canned mushrooms. We decided that we really wanted to kick it up and go fresh. So we changed to fresh mushrooms, chopped, cleaned, and chopped daily. Then we wanted to replace the sausage. Now, pizza places typically use Italian sausage, but she was not doing that at the time, so we wanted to change that. It wasn't a big price, one increase in price. But what makes Italian sausage different is a seasoning called fennel. It's actually a seed, and you mix it into, and there are other spices and everything that we put in there also, and that's what gives you that a special spicy Italian push, and a kick in food. And so then another change we made over time was made, which I believe makes us unique, is that we stopped dicing up all of the vegetables, like the mainly the peppers and the onions, because my belief is that the fact is that your taste buds on the side of your mouth. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right, because she has a degree in what? Biology. Okay, she actually has a degree in biology. So anyway, so your taste buds on the side of your mouth, and if everything is chopped up, it can get lost in the dough and the sauce and so forth. No, we wanted you to experience something that we wanted you to be able to bite into the vegetables, allowing you to better have that taste. All right. So those type of changes, we wanted to take a great product, make it better, and that's what we did. Now calzones were phenomenal from day one. We never changed a thing. Now calzone is that thing that flips over. You take a pizza and you flip it over and you close it up and you cook it. And so those were best sellers, great sellers. Day one, we never changed a thing. The only thing we did change was like I mentioned, was the Italian sausage. We changed that. Um, and also we were selling chicken wings, but we were selling frozen chicken wings out of the bag. So we wanted to change that. We had no clue how to do that because we do not have a fire suppression system which allows us to open fire. So we figured it out. Have to come by and see how we did it. So now we do fry our wings, and we fry them and bake them. The reason we bake them after we fry them is to bake some of the grease out of it. All right. And people like that when you put the coating on them, people kind of still want that little crunch, that hardness in the wings, and we try to serve. That's one of the ways we try to do it. One of the other things we wanted to change as new owners, that we wanted to change the overall customer experience, and that took some time because it took some money, and I was able to save a lot of money because my oldest son helped me out with the floors. I did all of the walls, and we've totally changed it again. If you want to know what it looks like, come by and see. We we One of the things we wanted to do was that we wanted to expand our menu in terms of what we offer in terms of chicken. So we added several items such as barbecue pizza, the barbecue chicken pizza, we chicken Alfredo, and what we offered lately is our Cajun chicken, Cajun chicken pasta with connector sausage. Of course, that's her. That's that's her recipe. She came up with that because we live in Louisiana and raised three kids, three boys, and they cook differently in Louisiana. So one of the things we in turn and so the question was why not infuse what she's learned and cooking with southern Louisiana seasons and introduce that into some Italian food. So that's what we did, and it's been a hit. Tell them about it, Beth. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but tell them about it.
Well, when he came to me and he asked, he said, your pasta that you make, which I would normally make for them, but I would use seafood. Okay. And so it has like a creamy base to it, which a lot of the Louisiana, foods will have a creamy base to it, along with your Trinity, your onions, bell pepper, celery, cayenne pepper, paprika, and additional spices. And so this was something that I would make for the family at least twice a year because it was, high in calories, of course, and it's fattening, but it is very good. So he said, what I would like to do is take it. And I said, why don't you just try it? Maybe one or two occasions, just kind of give it away or whatever. Well, what happened was we had an individual that came to us that was getting married. She was looking for something different, and this was for her wedding party. She was having a dinner, and so I made it at home and I took it to her for lunch one day, and so she loved it so much. Then we started catering using that same recipe as a way to be able to cater and put it out. So it has taken off. It's been a great hit. And of course, we've had to add the Conecuh sausage to it. In Louisiana, I was doing more the andouille.
Yeah.
But of course, that is the sausage of taste here in Southern Alabama. So with that, a lot of people love it. We've catered, several different kinds of events with the Cajun pasta as well. So we just asked, and we would like to build that particular area in terms of catering. We'd like to build that up. So,
Right.
when we're asking people to really come out and try it, and I think you'll love it.
And another catering job we did was for, in fact, we did a couple of times with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes,
There's a
that's correct.
as a subset or a community-based version of the Chamber of Commerce that meets every Thursday, and we catered that with a couple of times.
Mhm.
And we do big orders for companies around the area and things of that nature. But that infused, and we have some other items coming down the pike, but we won't say anything right now what it is. We're just going to put it out there, and we know that it's going to be a success. Like everyone, COVID has really taken a toll on NAFCO. Our revenues, went down as far as 40%, and without some government support, we simply wouldn't be able to, keep the doors open. And we still need some support, but we have managed. We ask that you continuously pray for us and support local businesses, especially those in the hospitality area, like restaurants, because it has been difficult. We used to open 6 days a week from 11 until initially we used to be open to 11 to 9. Then we went from 11 to 8. That was just payrolls too high. But COVID hurt us that on our Mondays, our Monday revenue was so low, we started closing on Mondays. And so now we're open from Tuesday to Saturday. And then we saw a decrease on Saturdays. So we're only open from 1 to 7 on Saturdays. One of the things we did try is that we wanted to do more on Saturdays in terms of football, and didn't quite work out. But we're going to keep pushing, hoping you guys will come out and support us. You remember I talked about the lobby area. We repainted the walls, we redid the floor, we put up a little bar, we redid the lights, we closed off the open windows. And again, we would like for you to come see the work we put in to NAVCO and some of the work we still have to do. Then you can help. I'm not help us, but enjoy it and grow with us. Um, one of the things that really was interesting to me is in engaging and hiring youth in the community. I've met a lot of beautiful people, getting to know customers, but it's been a joy working with some of these young people. My wife, for a period of time, worked out at Viga. We would deliver things to them, especially to them because she was working there. And the principal was great, and they facilitated the whole process of helping us with the ordering process and working with us, and and that was great work, getting to know the teachers and in the community, and working. We did something with Blunt was allowing us to come out and do the games. We did a couple of South Alabama games. We had to stop doing the South before they moved to the new stadium. We literally just gave that up, not because it wasn't good, but because it was too successful. We simply could not meet the crowd. First of all, we had to figure out how to do it. We wanted the perception that, hey, we could just go set up on the USA side and we would make a lot of money. No, it was just the opposite. When USA would when South Alabama would have games where people would have to drive when the opposing teams would be, in cities like Georgia or Florida, something like that,
Yeah.
and people would have to drive far away, for long ways. Then we would set up shop on their side, and we just simply could not keep up with the demand. So that's we stopped that, but we wish we had a great time doing it. And we would work with young people. They would help us, come work with us, come help us out and work with us. But you get to have an insight into what young people are going through and what their families are going through. And we had some highs and we had some lows. We had a young man work with us, and we're gonna for the highs. We got to mention some names. Mr. Kersey, you remember Roderick? Roderick worked with me about 5 or 6 years ago, and he was a football player at BC Range. And Roderick worked, great employee, fun to be around, intelligent young man, and he went on to Alabama A&M, and he came by last year, no, early this year, no, last year. And he's going to be graduating soon, and it's good to see this young man blossom in a young, an adult from being a teenager, and and we had another one. That one guy who started working with me when he was in the 10th grade at Murphy. His name was Crenshaw. Was it Justin?
Okay.
Justin Crenshaw. Justin was a great employee. Now let's be honest. Sometimes working in any kind of restaurant and during peak hours can get taxing, tense, and hard, and you have a lot of dishes to wash. And sometimes young folk don't want to wash dishes. So, but Justin hung on in there. He worked with me. He was great, and he was another one. I think he's graduated by now, and he went on to think he's some kind of nursing assistant or something like that. And so we had an opportunity to have and another one. Sam Jackson, she's a female. She's in school. She worked with me for quite a while. She was a great employee. Usually they leave because I just can't afford sometimes to pay them with what I believe they're worth. And when they part, we part on good footing, and they come back and they see me, they hang out with me. The kids come sometimes, and I get a chance to meet the parents, and those are the kind of things that. And see, when you work with young people and you spend that much time, 2, 3 hours on a shift, maybe 4 or 5 hours on a shift, you get to know them, and you get to talk to them, and you get to see what their dreams and aspirations are, and you get to see how you may even have an opportunity to have an effect on how you shape what they do, in some cases what they don't do. And when they want to come back and they tell you, I want to come back and say, Mr. Wren, you told me such and such and such thing, really, change. And I could not, remember exactly what I said to him. But to this day, he's working and doing great. But we also see, they bring home to work sometimes. Things aren't going well at work. It's been on more than one occasion that, some person is literally crying in my office. And I have 3 sons, so I have to step into being a father role, and you have to be there. And those situations are more gratifying than all the pieces I can sell when you can be there for that young person who may be going through whatever he or she is going through. And almost all of the time, all they don't need all the preaching and stuff. They know what's going on. They need someone to listen. And sometimes they do need you to tell them the truth. And the truth isn't always nice. And you tell it anyway. And whether they do it, they do it. The lowest points were, there was one young lady who, and I can't remember her name. She wanted to work. She was so nice. She would come up there and talk. She was a friend of a young lady who was working for me at the time. And she ended up getting murdered by somebody. And it was to have someone to walk in and tell you someone you met is now deceased. And then I had 2 young men who were working for me, and both good workers, both good workers. And they wanted to make a quick dollar, and both of them, were murdered it was sometime last year. And you say to yourself, could I have done anything to help? And you have to realize that in some cases you get them you come into their lives when it's too late, because they you don't have to ask. They will tell you what's going on. And come home and talk to them. If they tell you what's going on, and sometimes you pray with them, sometimes you talk to them, sometimes you say, "Hey." In fact, one Tyrese did some work for me on a house, and we went out and went to Winslow's to eat. Want something else besides pizza. And he said, "Mr. Rand, I've never been to a restaurant before." So I was like, "Are you serious?" First, I didn't believe him. He was sincere, but it's an opportunity to expose them to different things. If you interview with me for a job, I will ask you, what is your plan, and what do you want? Not so much what do you want to do and what do you want to be, because you may not know. But at least I have to tell you that in this world there are three types of employees. There's unskilled, skilled, and professional. And this is how they live, this is the kind of money they earn, and these are the type of jobs that goes in each category. And you have to make a decision as to what you're going to do. And you have to make the decisions now, because those decisions can affect you for the rest of your life. And I will also ask them, a very simple question. And this, it's simple. I will ask them, how much does it cost for you to take care of you? That's a simple question, huh? And they look at you like, what in the world are you talking about? I said, in other words, right now you're living with, most of them living with mama. So, and that was the difference. And I must say this, Roderick Kersey, his daddy made sure that he went to college. He rolled Roderick. Now dad is benefiting from the fact that he has a college graduate in engineering.
That's right.
So it's all about expectations. And yes, I have had it because people don't want to meet at my expectations sometimes. But I asked them, what does it take for you to take care of you? And they look at me and they say, what are you talking about? And especially to the boys. I really don't do this with the girls, especially to the boys. And I will ask them, I will say, now, you have to have somewhere to live. You have to have transportation. You have to pay for utilities. And you have to pay for food. Now, how are you going to do all that? First of all, how much does this cost? And how are you going to do this? And your ability to do this is based on which one of those three categories you decide to live in. So are you going to be an unskilled employee, a skilled employee, or a professional? If you want to be an unskilled, graduate from high school, go get a job. If you want to be a skilled, go get a trade. If you want to be a professional, go to college. It's up to you. So we sit there and we will literally write down what it takes for you when I ask this question, what does it take for you, for you to take care of you, and we write it down. And some of them have an idea, most don't, but I can tell you that they aren't really thinking about that. And you have to, even at 13, 14. I have a 14-year-old that comes by and works sometime. And we have these conversations. I can't tell you what you're going to be, but at least we have to make a decision on where you're going to be headed. And if you lay down the groundwork and you have some idea, then hey, you get there. You get there. But that's about all I can continue. If there are any questions, we would love to take on any questions.
Yes, we do have a few questions, and one of my questions was going to be, tell us about your community outreach, but we don't need to hear that. We've already heard how it reaches out.
Really?
Reach
Yeah,
out.
and what we would like to see is more of it.
Yeah.
Because if we don't change, who will?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's something that I do out of love.
Yeah.
And let me say one thing about this whole venture, this entire venture. The purchase of Navco Pizza would not have happened, without her permission.
Yeah.
Let's make that abundantly clear. Okay? She said, okay. Without that, there would be no Navco Pizza. This broadcast would not have happened. So let's understand and let's place respect where respect is due,
That's
and
right.
favor, and things that she's been a true blessing, and so very, very, very patient. Seeing me, work harder than I ever have. But and it's less stress because IT can be stressful, but it was more of a physical change than anything. But but again, interacting with the young people,
Yeah.
that visit from Roderick, and when I see young people in the store, um, uh, that is priceless. That is priceless. And if on any occasion someone can say, I contributed to the positive decisions that they've made, hey, it's all worth it. All worth the sacrifice, all worth the hard work, all worth the up there 11, 12 at 12 o'clock at night, painting this, redoing this, building this, and so forth and so forth. Because at least we give the kids an opportunity to interact, because some of them don't have fathers at home.
Yeah.
And it gives them an opportunity to interact. And it also, in some cases, gives them an opportunity to meet my sons and to see how I interact with them. Because Austin is a sophomore. Freshman. He's a freshman at Southern, and he comes and he works and he's been trained. He can run the shop, and that means a lot to me. Now I don't know if I can talk about chickens or not. Can I?
No, let her and she's got to answer
All
the
right.
question.
We
Yeah,
certainly have enjoyed you too. We're gonna get him on Comedy Central. So,
Part two.
now tell us again your location and your hours, your days of the week and hours.
Well, we're located at a 1368 and a half Navco Road. There's a shopping center on the corner of McVeigh and Navco. And our hours are, we are open on Tuesdays through Saturdays. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're open from 11 to 7. On Friday is from 11 to 8. And on Saturday, from 1 to 7.
Great, great.
And we love for you guys to come out and hang out with us.
We
Hey, I'm always in the back cooking, making the pizza. Sorry.
We're going. You're fine.
Yeah,
You're fine.
I'll be back.
We're going to. We talked about this earlier. We're going to do some more things with you guys a
Mhm.
little later on, and we'll talk to you guys about
Mhm.
that
Okay,
off camera, so we can kind of plan something.
Mhm.
Okay.
that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do want to say one thing.
Sure.
Listening to you, I came into this thinking, okay, we're going to hear about this uh, two people who own this pizzeria, right? And tell us all about that. But the overarching value in your business, I believe, is that you build people.
Yeah.
And that is so important because you see how it pays you back. It pays itself forward
Oh yeah.
when you put into those young people what you put into them to make them want something better for themselves.
Mhm.
So that was to me very, important because you don't get that from employers these days. It seems that way
Mhm.
because it is difficult to work with the young people, but you have a gift for that. So I was sitting over here just really, really excited about that point that you build people
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
pizzeria. You don't just make pizza and great calzones and the
Exactly.
most amazing pasta. That Cajun chicken pasta with Kaneka sausage, people. But you also build people, and I think that is a really blessing. That's really a gifting from God. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
And we will definitely have you guys back on. So
Okay.
we will get with you on that so we can schedule some time in the future.
No
Okay.
problem. No
We
problem.
do appreciate you coming. And folks, you have heard about Navico Pizza Go and give them some business. It's one of our own businesses. And remember, we are spotlighting Black businesses every week, at least one, if not two. So go and participate and support our own folks. Okay? We would like to thank you for joining us today, and we will see you back next week at the same time, the same day, and the same location. Good evening.